Considered the greatest pound-for-pound fighter of the modern era, Floyd Mayweather has amassed himself quite the fortune over his 21-year career, making what he claims to be over $1.2 billion. He went an insane 50-0 in his boxing career, and his last fight was against Conor McGregor, August 26, 2017. Floyd will return to the ring on June 6th against YouTuber Logan Paul, and is expected to take home $100 million from this fight. Before we get into this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated on all my new content when it drops. Also hit the notification bell to be notified every time I post a video. Now, let's get into the luxury lifestyle of one of boxing's greatest icons, Floyd "Money" Mayweather. Think of how crazy it is to only fight 50 professional fights and have a net worth of over $1.2 billion. That's roughly $24 million per fight. His last two fights generated some crazy attention, which in return generated crazy amounts of viewers, which equals crazy amounts of money. In his last professional fight against the MMA legend Conor McGregor, Floyd said he earned around $350 million by beating McGregor. The fight before that, against another legend, Manny Pacquiao, he earned around $300 million. That's $650 million just from two fights. That's more than $500 million from 2 nights' work. Pretty good business to get into. The fight against McGregor was supposed to be his last fight, and he would retire with a perfect 50-0 record until Logan Paul challenged him to an exhibition fight. Regardless of the outcome, it will not affect either of their records, so Floyd regardless will still have his 50-0 record. Floyd only took this offer after looking at the possible $100 million payday. I'd fight Logan Paul for $100 million, easy, even though he'd probably knock my lights out in a few seconds. Bold prediction though for me on this upcoming fight, Floyd knocks out Logan Paul real quick. Now you know how he has earned his ludicrous $1.2 billion fortune from boxing, so I'll let you know how he spends that fortune. Let's start off with his Los Angeles mansion, which he bought for a whopping $25 million in 2017. It's a 15,100 square foot mansion featuring 6 bedrooms and 10 bathrooms, located in Beverly Hills. Right when you step inside, you notice the large wine rack to the right. The wine rack can hold up to 225 bottles and is protected by a series of glass doors. Then you move on to the massive kitchen where Floyd can use one of his personal chefs to make him some nice grub before a fight. One of the greatest features of the house is a screening room that can fit 12 people and also has a candy shop in the back loaded with all of our favorite candy. The backyard features a massive court by the pool, big enough to host some large and lavish parties. Knowing how big Floyd likes to go, it's no doubt that he's hosted some extreme parties there. Another feature of his Beverly Hills mansion is his 2 giant pictures he has hung up of him and McGregor at the weigh-in before the fight. Now we'll talk about Floyd's Vegas mansion, which is labeled as his main residence. Altogether throughout the separate compounds, it's around 21,860 square feet. It features an indoor pool and spa that resembles something you'd see in a high-end Vegas strip hotel. But nope, it's just for Floyd. Out in the courtyard, there are tons of statues and expensive pieces of artwork, including a replica of the Versace logo. Floyd's main closet is pretty incredible, featuring rows and rows of designer clothing and shoes. Floyd has a huge collection of cars at his Vegas pad, and since they are his Vegas cars, they are all painted black. Floyd sometimes likes to be low-key when in Vegas, so his day-to-day car is a Dodge Ram 1500. On to the most expensive purchase from Floyd, which is his Gulfstream G650 private jet, dubbed Air Mayweather. There's only one way to travel when you have the wealth of Mayweather, and it's very rarely by car. He purchased the jet for around $60 million, which he treated himself to on his 41st birthday. The wingtip of the jet is adorned with a 50-0 logo, which is homage to Mayweather's boxing record. Apparently before Mayweather purchased this plane, he would make his bodyguards take a separate plane while he's traveling because he was worried about their weight dragging down the plane possibly. He's visited some pretty cool locations on his jet, including Hong Kong, Abu Dhabi, Tokyo, Italy, Monte Carlo, Bali, Fiji, Aruba, Greece, and many more. It's fitted with comfortable leather seats, chrome, and several TVs. He's had the same 3 personal pilots on standby for most of his flying time and has no plans of getting new ones. They are always on standby in case Floyd wants to go to Iceland to take a few pictures. He seriously did that. If you're ever flying with Floyd on his plane, there's a good chance he'll pull out some stacks of money and just have it sitting around the cabin. He loves to show off his money. If Floyd ever has to make a phone call while 30,000 feet in the air, he has the capability to do that with his satellite phone on board the plane. Let's go over his insane car collection because he has a very impressive fleet of cars. He claims to have over $15 million worth of cars in his garage, but most likely it's more than that. One of his top cars that he drives is his Lamborghini Murcielago with a price tag of $500,000. It has a top speed of 212 miles an hour and only 4,099 produced made it to the USA. His next car would be his insane Bugatti 16.4 Veyron with a price tag of $1.5 million. There were only 450 of these cars ever made, and you know this car is one of his fastest. Next car is a Koenigsegg CCXR Trevita, which is one of 2 ever made. It features a carbon fiber diamond weave and is the most expensive car in his fleet at around $4.8 million. His next car is a Bentley Mulsanne with a hefty 505 horsepower that can reach 62 miles an hour in roughly 4.8 seconds. He has a Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren with a top speed of 209 miles an hour and a crazy 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. He has 2 LaFerraris in his collection and a few Rolls-Royce Phantoms to add along with that. And he tops it off with a Bentley golf cart he got for his son. Don't forget about his personal Cadillac golf cart that he uses to get around his Vegas property. Floyd has been known as a big-time gambler, dropping millions of dollars at a time on major sporting events throughout the years. You thought Dan Bilzerian was a big-time gambler? Think again. He has been known to bet up to $800,000 on regular season NFL games. He also backed Miami Heat with a remarkable $5.9 million bet in Game 7 of their NBA playoff series with the Pacers in 2013, and left with $6.5 million in profit. With all the money that Floyd has, it's not surprising what he does with his clothes. Floyd famously refuses to wash his underwear, not because he wants them to smell, but because he only wears a pair once and then he's done with them. He is reported to spend around $6,000 per year on underwear alone. He also only wears his shoes once, which is why he had such a stacked closet full of them. Most clothing, on the other hand, though, can be a little different depending on the piece of clothing. If it's some designer clothing, he might wear it a few times. If you've been following Floyd on social media, you've most likely seen pictures of him showing off his $1 million watches. He has tons of different watches, so many that according to him, if he's touring for 30 days, he could carry 30 different watches. His watch collection is estimated to be worth tens of millions of dollars, with his favorite and most expensive watch being an $18 million Jacob & Co. watch known as Tourbillon. Everything Floyd has is top of the line. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this content, please hit that like button and subscribe to get more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.